Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna get started right here. Really quickly, before we get started, one, I'm gonna invite our speakers to come to the stage. And then for any of our participants in our convening this weekend, if you'd like to stand on stage behind our speakers, that'd be greatly appreciated. It is optional, but definitely would appreciate folks coming to join on stage to show all of the power that is in the room. We're going to be getting started in just a moment, so we want to get our stage set. Thank you again. For folks who are on our Zoom virtually online, thank you so much for being here. We should be starting momentarily. Again, we're going to be starting in just a quick moment. Perfect. Alrighty, we're getting set here. Alrighty, everybody. Alrighty, everybody. We are going to get started this morning. If we can all quiet down, quiet down. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Wisdom Cole. I proudly serve as the Senior National Advocacy Director for the NAACP. And thank you for joining us today. We're here at a critical moment. Across the country, big tech is rapidly expanding data centers, but the burden of this growth is failing hardest on Black and brown frontline communities. Too often, our neighborhoods are treated as sacrifice zones, bearing pollution with other profits for innovation. Today, the NAACP, alongside communities of environmental justice leaders, is sounding the alarm. Together, we are proving a new framework that demands accountability and responsibility, action from tech companies as they expand in our communities. This is about protecting our air, our land, our people. Let's rise together and call together. To begin, please join by welcoming State Representative Justin Pearson.
First, thank you so much. Thank you. You're too kind. Thank you so much to the NAACP at the national level, and our local Memphis branch, President Moore, Executive Director Terry, and to Wisdom, and to the amazing and illustrious leader that we have in Aubrey Connor. We are so grateful. Look, what is happening with technology companies all across our country is the exploitation of people. We are being treated as extractive colonies for the profits of billionaires and their tech companies. For too long, our communities have been treated as sacrifice zones. We are the places that get the most industrial pollution. Our people are the sickest and are dying because of the lack of investments in protecting our health and protecting our environment. We have seen this most recently with XAI, which has been a horrible company to have in Memphis and in District 86. For over a year, they illegally polluted against the Clean Air Act, the very air that we breathe, and have yet to this date to pay reparation for the harm that they caused. But a movement is building. A movement of people who are committed to justice, a movement of people who are committed to fairness and committed to the voices in our community that too long have been silenced. And it is that power, it is people power, that is on display here in Memphis, Tennessee, the heart, the epicenter of this fight against data centers that unjustly and illegally hurt and harm communities. We don't have a problem with technology. We have a problem with the benefits of technology going to the wealthiest and the most powerful, and the dangers and the harms hurting those who are working class, hurting black folk, hurting people of color across the United States of America and in our city, and particularly in the South. And we aren't just worried about XAI. We know Google has 5 data centers planned in West Memphis, Arkansas. And we know there's legacy pollution, that this problem didn't just start. Tech companies are taking their same playbook from big oil companies, take the same playbook from big pharma companies. But who's always pushed to the bottom, who's always pushed to the periphery, are black folk and poor folk. Native American communities, Latino folk, that's always who's being pushed to the bottom, and we have to demand things to be different. And if we don't, we're going to continue what we have seen happen. Our cancer risk in Southwest Memphis, 4 times the national average. Our entire county has an F in air quality, and this replicates itself time after time, community after community that's represented here all across the United States of America. We're saying no more. No more to our voices being hijacked and being misused by politicians and people who are in positions of power. No more to the cancer and the illnesses that we continue to experience in our community that lead to detrimental impacts to our lungs and the lives of our children and our elders. No more to a status quo of tech companies that believes that their profits are more important than our people. No more to a status quo that has decided that our communities are somehow their sacrifice zone and not the places of resilience that our ancestors prayed for. No more to the inequality, no more to the injustice, no more to the inopportunity. We standing up. We rising up, and today we are speaking up because XAI and all of the companies that continue to think that our communities do not deserve investment, do not deserve to be included in the process, do not deserve to be listened to, you being put on notice that we ain't taking it no more. Thank you so much.
Can I get a no more? No more. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Justin Pearson. Next up, we would like to call to the stage Latricia Adams, President and CEO of the Young, Gifted, and Green. Let's make some noise.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for gathering here today. Again, my name is Latricia Adams. I'm the proud daughter of 2 South Memphis parents, the late Willie Roy Adams and Mrs. LaSharon Adams. I'm the founder, CEO, and president of Young, Gifted, and Green, and I stand before you not only as an environmental justice and civil rights activist, but as a concerned citizen of Memphis and a member of a community that has long been impacted by air pollution. Today, we are here to address a critical issue, the urgent need for government accountability in minimizing air pollution from data centers. These facilities across the nation operate with little regard for the health of our communities, especially our most vulnerable communities with Black children and women. Data centers are often situated in Black neighborhoods already burdened by socioeconomic disadvantages, and they contribute to rising levels of air pollution. These have been linked to serious health issues, including asthma, respiratory issues, and developmental challenges in children. Pregnant women exposed to high levels of air pollution face increased risk of preterm birth, low birth weight, and developmental delays in their infants. We can no longer allow profit to overshadow the well-being of the people. It is time for our government to take a stand and enforce stricter regulations on emissions from these facilities. We demand transparency in the operations and accountability for the health impacts they impose on Black communities. Today, we call for stricter emission standards. Data centers must adhere to stringent regulations that prioritize air quality over convenience and profit. Community engagement and community benefits agreements. Local residents should have a voice in decision-making processes that affect their health. We must ensure that community concerns are not just heard, but acted upon. There must also be long-term economic investments directly allocated and controlled by the community. Health impacts. Before new data centers are approved, comprehensive assessments must be conducted to understand their potential impact on air quality and public health. Investment in clean technologies. It's time for our government to invest in clean renewable energy sources such as solar and sustainable practices that minimize the environmental footprint and the legacy of pollution. Together, we can ensure that our air is clean and that our children are protected and the future generations can thrive without the burden of pollution. We stand united in this fight, and we will hold our government accountable for the health and safety of our Black children and our Black families. Thank you.
Alrighty, next up, we have one of our hosts for this convening, for this gathering. Next up is going to be Memphis Branch President Kermit Moore.
Good morning. Good morning. First, I give you greetings from our illustrious State President, Gloria Sweetlove, in her absence. We've been convening these last 2 days, not because we hate data centers or AXI, but we refuse to sit back and be polluted and told, well, at least you're getting some tax rebates from it.
That's right.
Money over people's lives, we won't stand for. We're not going to have it.
That's right.
And we have convened people from all over this country who are having data center problems or about to. And we will leave here with a plan to stand united
Yes.
as a people, just as the data centers and the chambers have their sounds together. We're going to be speaking in one voice, and you will not be able to pick us apart
Yes.
one from another. When we fight,
Yes.
we win. When we fight,
We win.
Thank you so much, President Moore. Next up, we have Tristan Thomas, Director of Policy Alternative for Community and Environment.
Good morning. At Alternatives for Community and Environment, we envision self-determined communities that exercise power over the energy, finance, and technology that shapes our futures. Our vision is one where families and communities thrive, free from systemic inequities, with healthy environments, affordable housing, clean energy, transportation, and economic self-sufficiency for all. We are here today because data centers represent a direct threat to our communities in Massachusetts. Our state is attracting data center build-out without any meaningful safeguards for the environment, public health, and our economy. In Lowell, Massachusetts, the state is standing by idly as diesel generators are installed 100 feet from people's homes, and as arsenic-laced dust blows through their windows. In Westfield, Massachusetts, the new $3 billion data center is expected to pay just $9 million a year in property taxes. Meanwhile, the state is going to give them a $30 million tax break. That's a net loss of $20 million of hard-earned taxpayer money every single year for just one data center. Meanwhile, our FY26 state budget slashes over $57 million from environment and recreational agencies and programs. Even as Massachusetts faces rising sea levels, extreme heat, worsening storms, and other environmental challenges. To top it off, data centers in Massachusetts also often receive discounted utility rates, which means that ratepayers are also subsidizing these facilities in addition to being responsible for paying for their grid upgrades. In regards to data centers, Massachusetts looks a lot like our federal administration. Data centers are a known economic, public health, and environmental risk, and ACE demands comprehensive regulation that protects us from these industrial pollution hubs.
Yes.
We demand safeguards to ensure that the Commonwealth is not subsidizing nor ignoring the destruction of our own communities in the pursuit of distant promises. We're proud to co-convene this gathering in Memphis with NAACP, Memphis Community Against Pollution, Young, Gifted, and Green, and folks from all around the country to build power, solidarity, and to protect and empower our communities. With that, it's my pleasure to pass it back.
Thank you so much, Tristan. Next up, we have a powerful brother, Keyshawn Pearson, Executive Director of Memphis Community Against Pollution.
Good morning. Good morning. I want to first thank Aubrey, thank Wisdom, thank Young Gifted and Green, thank the NAACP and President Moore for convening such an event at such a pivotal time. For in this moment, we all have to show that there is no environmental justice without social justice.
Yes.
There is no social justice without environmental justice.
Yes.
Thank you for convening around a future of technology without pollution. In this moment, we stand on the shoulders of giants who gave their lives to a vision that we are still fighting for. We are standing on the shoulders of the great Lemoyne-Owen graduates and the Memphis sanitation workers. This is a critical point in history for justice. Do you know what it's like to struggle to breathe? Do you know what it's like to hear your loved ones gasping for air out of pain? The suffering is seemingly concentrated and isolated to South Memphis, but we all share the same sky. Environmental racism, and we have to name what it is, targets black children and black families, but it touches everyone. Region 4, that includes Shelby County and Tennessee, Crittenden County and Arkansas, DeSoto County and Mississippi, are exceeding the EPA standards for smog and low-level ozone. XAI contributed between 1,000 and 2,000 tons of nitrogen oxide in just 12 months. It is no coincidence that our neighbors in DeSoto County are the only county in Mississippi with an F in air quality. This pollution comes at a cost. Shelby County has the highest amount of children with asthma and respiratory-related emergencies every year out of the entire state of Tennessee. This is not normal. This is to Ted Townsend of the Greater Memphis Chamber. We are not accepting suffering and dying for the financial gains of the wealthy. To the Shelby County Health Department, who has prioritized permits for polluters over protecting our health, when is justice going to be a priority for the people in Westwood and Boxtown? Elon Musk XAI is a reckless experiment that costs black families their health. We cannot accept white men putting black lives on an auction block.
Yes.
We are for progressive, ethical development, but we are vehemently against anything that exploits our community.
Yes.
We need revolutionaries like the people on this stage who will walk the walk, not just talk the talk, who will march and who will carry the torch of hope.
Yes.
We are not the path of least resistance. So we are organizing, mobilizing, and join us in this fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those powerful words. Next up, we have some very special guests who are with us and partners who have traveled quite some far to be with us today. We have Glenda Avalos and Renee Johnson from No Desert Data Center. Let's make some noise.
Good morning, everyone. The recent successful fight to reject Project Blue, a $3.6 billion data center by Amazon Web Services, slated for Tucson, Arizona, which is Tono Atam land and Pascoyaki land, was a huge victory for our community,
Yes.
the land, the precious water, and our humanity. It was also symbolic in the sense that it clearly demonstrated that a group of people can successfully
Yes.
defend their home against extractive industry. This win was only possible because of a collective effort that built on a many-year history of local social and environmental organizing.
Yes.
Thousands of people mobilized quickly to form the No Desert Data Center Coalition, while creating space for anyone who had something to contribute to the fight. All were welcome and all were needed. Tucsonans have a deep-rooted sense of place that extends from the desert landscape to the community of people who live here. We understand the value of water in a desert ecosystem with worsening drought conditions. Our vision is a livable and vibrant future
Yes.
for generations that come after
Yes.
us.
Yes.
We want water flowing in the rivers and creeks, including the Santa Cruz River, at the heart of our community.
Yes. Now, what does this mean? For other communities battling data centers, this is a visible history of successful resistance. Embracing a collective effort will make your cause undeniable to the local decision makers. Be loud. Often systems of local governance that support extractive development will urge you to be quiet. Don't conform to their expectations of their narratives. Speak out. Do your research. Bring in the voices of the independent experts, because of the developers won't certainly do it. Their through understanding and communication about harm towards residents and the land will expand your fight. This is a global fight, waged at a local level. Each community going through a similar resistant effort against a data center is part of a broader resistance. Data centers are not inevitable. Our biggest source of power comes through the people binding together in a united front line. Across social and political divisions, we have to stand strong and united. We are standing in solidarity in the fight with others. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. A community that stands together will never be defeated.
Absolutely, 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 absolutely. And now, last but certainly not least, our leader in this movement. This person is a force to be reckoned with, somebody who is consistently working to ensure that we are seeing justice within the environmental and climate justice space. I am very, very proud to work with this person, to convene with this person, to organize with this person who is a fierce advocate for justice. Please welcome to the stage our Director of Environmental Climate Justice at the NAACP, Bray Connor.
The NAACP has stood with communities regarding environmental and climate justice issues since before the term environmental justice was well known. And at the heart of environmental and climate justice issues has always been the communities that an industry, an agency, or other individuals that they're hoping that they have forgotten or that they just don't care enough about. But because of white supremacy and systemic racism, for decades, polluters have been able to unabashedly march into places that have been historically excluded from environmental decisions that impact them the most. And this convening reflects the intersectional civil rights approach to environmental and climate issues that has always been at the crux of this approach. Decades ago, when the United Church of Christ released Toxic Waste and Race, they highlighted that Black, Latinx, Indigenous, and other communities of color were most likely to be siting grounds for polluting industries. And at the same time, communities marched in the streets. They walked the halls of Congress. They filed lawsuits because Black towns in North Carolina and Texas were speaking up about being sacrifice zones for pollution for industries that they hoped would be an easy target. From California to Massachusetts to Texas to here in Tennessee, we are seeing a repeat of the past. We are seeing bad actors in tech industry use existing polluting facilities as a quick fix to power their operations, or even worse, run unpermitted gas turbines as a solution to circumvent the law. And we have to ask ourselves, why in 2025 would companies that are making billions of dollars through data center operations pick historically Black communities, low-income communities, communities of color, places that have high cancer rates and health problems to run unpermitted gas turbines to overload their grids or to contaminate their water sources? And likely all three. We have to ask ourselves why regulating agencies would allow for these industries to install even more polluting gas turbines or run these operations if they see the risk to communities that are already happening. It may be because history has told them that this is where these types of projects have traditionally gone. It may be because they believe that no one will care. But history is also instructive to demonstrate that our communities have always cared about our health, about having access to clean and safe water, air, and the fundamental right to exist freely in our communities. And organizations like the NAACP have stood with other civil rights organizations, labor unions, student groups, women's rights groups, education rights groups, environmental and climate justice groups, organizers, and other activists to demand that we would not be left out of the promises that are tantamount in our Constitution. Organizations have stood to unite to demand that we have a right to all the resources that have been promised within the Constitution and to the residents of this country, and that we would not be left out any longer. And although many of the promises of traditional environmental protections took a while to actually reach Black and other communities of color, we still deserve the protections that were tantamount to the drafters when they shared their thinking. The United States created the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and shortly after, Congress passed the Clean Air Act to protect the human health and the environment, which includes the health of the residents of all the communities. That are collectively represented here today and further. And the goal of the Clean Air Act, even in its inception, was to protect the human health of individuals. And the goal for the Clean Water Act was to protect us against water pollution, which includes the contamination that comes from data center operations. Somewhere in history, people who do not live in overburdened communities believed that sacrifice zones were appropriate to ensure that this dream was true for some but not all. However, at the NAACP, these goals are the basis for our guidelines that we are collectively working on this weekend. And among other protections for other folks who are working at these companies and agencies, and also elected and appointed officials who believe that our health, our safety, and our welfare is not as important as in other communities. We recognize that in places like Memphis, in Virginia, in Indiana, in communities in Arizona, that all of these protections are important. These guidelines are important because we will not be left out of the promises of environmental justice that our leaders fought for decades ago to ensure inclusion. We are demanding through these principles a reversal of the framing that sacrifice zones are an easy target for polluters, a place to encourage backroom deals, to spread misinformation regarding the pollution that these data centers create. We have come together as legal and policy experts, community organizers, union leads, environmental and climate justice organizations, and local activists to say that we are stronger together, that we will build on our collective successes, learn from our unified strategies, and fight back against these polluting activities within our communities. Our expectation is that if any company threatens to harm the health of this united collective, that the avenue is to shut it down for them as well.
I want to thank all of our speakers for being here this morning. We will open up questions to our speakers from members of the press.
So we will be sharing the collective thoughts of the individuals here, the guiding principles. They will be made available to everyone in the public as well as the tech companies as well. We're also working on community benefit agreements. So these guiding principles are just our foundation, but understanding that the community benefit agreements are also an important part of showing our collective strength.
Yes, so on last Saturday, August 16th, the community celebrated and also learned about our new project. We installed for the first time community sensors alongside Shelby County Health Department sensors out in Shelby Farms, 5 purple air monitors and 3 modular air monitors that will monitor the air pollution in our city and in our county. These monitors will then be placed in our community after 4 weeks, and so we should have a report at the latest in October. Thank you.
We have not removed our intent to sue.
Okay. Look, when it comes to the investment MCAP made, and something that's repeated in our communities, there is very little or no air quality monitoring in our neighborhoods that are the most polluted. And so because there is not information, the communities consistently get exploited, and or data that's 20, 30 miles away gets used as justification for why the pollution is not so bad. The gap that MCAP, Memphis Community Against Pollution, is filling with the $250,000 investment is one that our county government and city government and health department should have filled decades ago. But because of the fact that 22 out of 30 of the largest polluters in Shelby County are in South Memphis, and because it is a majority black community and is overwhelmingly lower income due to our plantation economics, the community has not gotten any support or investment into monitoring. This gets repeated over and over and over again in our communities where oil refineries are. And then we have to explain why it matters that our grandmothers died from cancer, why it matters that our brother had asthma, why it matters that this is the reality for so many people who live in 38109 in South Memphis and in communities across the country. But it isn't just qualitative. We're getting the quantitative data to support it as well, because people who are the Chamber of Commerce, Mayor Young, Mayor Lee Harris, have been ignoring this reality for a very long time, and we can't continue to let it stand. There's also some great work being done by Young, Gifted, and Green as it relates to the appeal of the permit that XAI was given on July 2nd. And so I want President Adams to just say a word about that, as that also is part of the organizing that's happening as we use the tools within the institutions that are responsible for these decisions, the regulation, and put and apply pressure to get more justice for our communities.
So I'll speak in brief. So Young, Gifted, and Green, with support of the NAACP, represented by the Southern Environmental Law Center, stood in solidarity with the resistance of community to file an appeal regarding the permits that were issued by the Shelby County Health Department. Listen, at the end of the day, this industry only does what they are allowed to do. So our accountability still lies with who we pay our tax dollars for with the Shelby County Health Department. So we're looking forward to see how this appeal progresses. Thank you.
The last thing that I want to make sure that we do not overlook is the fact that Memphis Community Against Pollution had to raise the funds for the air pollution study, because we not only need the qualitative data that has not been provided by the Shelby County Health Department, but we are in complete opposition to the propaganda that's been put out and supported by the city and Mayor Paul Young with their air study. Our communities deserve information that is accurate and that has been fully vetted by professionals and air scientists. Pseudo study that has been taking place over 12 hours is woefully inaccurate for what we need to really substantiate what's happening. And so to be dismissive and support a study that says there's no real air pollution problem is to diminish the pain and the suffering of the people in South Memphis that has continued for decades. It's to dismiss the pain of me and my brother having to bury our aunt this past spring, and our grandmothers in their early 60s, to dismiss the pain of the people who have to continue to get asthma pumps or to continue to go to asthma treatments. It's to dismiss the pain. And so what this investment is a statement that if our public institutions and the people who have been charged and who have taken up a mantle to protect us won't do it, then we will.
questions from the press.
One person at a time, love. And we need to remind ourselves that collectively, we have the power. That's right. We have the power, but we have to learn how to interlock the arms. So that interlocks arms with my neighbor and my following neighbor and my other neighbor, and all we have to do is mobilize our voice. There is so much power in our voice. And we have seen it before, and we will continue to see it when this type of power, depleting and evil, it's the most, this is one of the most moral issues of the day, is contaminating our water and our air. It's evil and it's immoral. And we need to keep our local officials accountable. We have to tell them face to face, if you're gonna speak the walk, do not waver between two masters. Do not waver between two masters. You either serve the people and you serve the least of these, or you serve interest and you serve evil. Which one is it? So today I tell you, in response to your question, it's us. We are the ones we are waiting for. So we have to activate ourselves in every possible way. So even if you're small, you think your voice is as small as it can be, it's not. It's powerful. And collectively, we are here united and we will stand.
First of all, we want you to know that clean air and clean water is our basic human right.
Yes.
We will protect our basic human rights at all costs, no matter who we have to go through.
Yes.
That's right.
And I think one thing that's really important to note about this convening is, to our knowledge, and these are folks who are in a lot of different spaces talking and thinking about data centers, that this is the first gathering of this type of intersectional thinking and strategy around ensuring that we're building ground truth guiding principles and community benefit agreements that will allow for us to stand back against these data centers who are coming into our communities and polluting in this way. And so this is a historic moment to show our collective power.
So thank you to the members of the press who are here. Thank you to all of our speakers for their amazing words. These are advocates in action, and we are operating at the fierce urgency of now.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Wait, I think he's been.
Tristan, we're doing a group photo real quick. Yes, I can send you.
Maria and